Are you sheltering in place, isolated, feeling alone? Well, then you're just like us.
Hit me.
From Studio P in Sausalito, the home of the quarantined hit, it's time for... Succotash Shut-In, the Soundcast Stimulus Package featuring snippets from Comedy
Soundcasts.
And now, here's your host for this episode, Marc Hershon.
Greetings, friend. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a repeat listener, welcome back to Succotash Shut-In, the Comedy Soundcast Stimulus Package. I'm your every other weekly host, Marc Hershon, trading places in the big chair with Tyson Saner. Did you catch his most recent show, Epi215, last week? He featured clips from 3 shows, TalkyBox Podcast, Facial Recognition Comedy, and Subterra. You can still catch that episode either on our home site at succotashshow.com or over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, the Laughable app, Google Play, iHeart Radio, and so many, many other places, points of distribution, if you will, across the World Wide Web. This, however, is episode 215. I usually like to come up with some kind of linking theme for the clips I share with you. Last time we were together in Epi213, I played 4 Australian-based soundcast clips with the help of Jason McNamara, who hosted the still-on-hiatus Dhead Factor from Canberra, Australia. This time around, I'm by myself, but I have a quartet of clips from 4 shows that feature stand-up comedians as the hosts. Okay, maybe that's not that much of a stretch. There are a lot of comics doing their own soundcasts these days, particularly in the midst of COVID-19 shutting down comedy clubs and other live venues they would normally be performing in. But that just means we can do that one-trick pony again sometime. And again, and again. The shows I have in the queue this time around include Too Dumb to Tame with Mia Pinchoff, Lewis Black's Rantcast, Stop Me If I've Heard This with Art Krug and Susan Rice, and Sunday Papers with Greg Fitzsimmons and Mike Gibbons. In addition, this episode of Succotash Shut-In is brought to you by Henderson's Pants Air-Cooled Culottes and TrumpPoetry.com. All right, hold your earbuds tightly to your ears. I'm about to fill those delicate, pearly, shell-like head holes with steaming hot clips. Too Dumb to Tame, which uses the numeral 2 instead of TOO, is hosted by comedian Mia Pinchoff. From the home site, notes come this description. Every episode, Mia will attempt to answer a question, a dumb question, because, quote, there are no dumb questions, unquote, is the dumbest statement she's ever heard. There are dumb questions, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't be asked. She'll do the asking so that you don't have to get judged up the anus for not knowing everything or knowing all the wrong stuff at the wrong time or all the right stuff. Never. For this episode, she was asked, what was it like watching the reality show Indian Matchmaking with her Indian husband? Our clip concerns some deep information that came out about her ability to enjoy and hold down super spicy food.
I love my cat so much, but we have spent too much time together during quarantine, and I know his asshole inside and out, and if he puts it in my face again, I'm going to put something in there because I feel like he's asking for it. What was I fucking saying? Like, his asshole is still here, like so casually just putting it in my face. My Lord, Jesus. Cats are the best. Anyway, so we had a Hindu ceremony, and I was wondering, I was curious about the show just to see, like, what went down and, like, if I should have had an arranged marriage. I'm kidding. I'm just lucky that he didn't have an arranged marriage, because then where would we be?
My grandma asked.
His grandma, apparently, he just said his grandma asked to do an arranged marriage, and, like, thank God they didn't, because I have a feeling she wouldn't have, like, I wouldn't have been picked. Like, the matchmaker would have never come across me. Probably because I'm not Indian, but probably for a whole lot of other reasons.
Before you.
It was before me. Like, to this day, his grandma, like, she still hopes that I'll cook, which I find, like, devastating because I know that that's not true, but also, like, so, like, heartbreaking because she still believes it so deeply. Like I've gotten so many Christmas presents that are like cooking related. Like at first it was like tools, like something that, what is it, like a blender, and then it was like a little blender, and then it was like, you know, okay, if you can't use the big one, we'll get you like a baby one, and then it was like the magic bolt, like it was an even easier one. It was like basically just look at this and it'll make dinner, you bitch, like do something. And then transitioned into like a cookbook, and then it went even down to like basically it was like Indian food for idiots. Like it went to an even more basic cookbook. And I don't touch any of that. I don't touch it. I'm not interested. I have been baking some during quarantine, but like I'm not going to be a chef. And I feel bad every time I see them in the pantry. What do you call it? I'm not in the kitchen a lot. I love to eat Indian food, and I will say I'm very proud of myself. When I first met my husband's grandma, she asked if I wanted something on my food that was like spicy, so probably not. And then I was like, no, I love spicy food, and I could just smell it. She was like, you don't know what I mean by spicy. Although I'd love to see you spend the evening in the bathroom, this isn't for you. And I was like, put it on my plate. And I took it. And I do like spicy food, and I can actually take it. Unlike my mother, who apparently, I never remember my mom being like this, but apparently now, like my mom, her mouth is so set, like she has such a white mouth that like, like pepper to her, she'll be like, oh, this has a kick. And I'm like, Mom, the only thing in there is like pepper. I'm not talking about like peppers, like hot peppers or like chili pepper, like I'm talking about like table salt and pepper, like black pepper. My mom's like fucking foaming at the mouth because she can't handle it. And when this first happened, I had told my husband that like my husband's a really good cook. Do you call him a chef? Is there like a level of thing? Like if you're a cook, that means like
Chefs are professionals.
Chefs are professionals. So you're a cook? Mm-hmm. When you want to go by chef?
No, I don't deserve it.
So it's not like, yeah, I guess it's like Chef Boyardee. It's not Cook Boyardee.
Too Dumb to Tame drops weekly, and you can find it wherever soundcasts are streamed and or downloaded. Famous for his bitingly funny commentary on The Daily Show, Lewis Black also has traveled the country to deliver the funny. Our clip comes from one of his more recent episodes in which he features a portion of his performance at the Fox Tucson Theater back in February, before this whole COVID mess got serious. Our clip has him riffing with the crowd.
I was in Reno. It's like really, and it was like fucking frozen. It was like the frozen tundra. The day before, it had like fucking, there'd been a blizzard up there. And there are people who were worried about the wall. Well, you're in Reno, okay? No, and it's like, fucking shut up. You don't get a vote on this, okay? You're in Reno. They're not coming to you, okay? They're not racing into the country going, I must get to Reno! And if they know anything, they're going to go, if they're up that far and they hear about Lake Tahoe, you're fucking toast. So this is what Monique says. There's no fucking emergency at the border. We're here. It's fine. It's safer near the border than pretty much everywhere else in the country. So shove this whole border wall emergency nonsense. Okay? So I'm going to read these. For those of you who don't agree with this, you had the opportunity to write something, and you didn't. So I just have to point that out. I have to point out every fucking night that I do this. Every night, for a long time, I just got tired of saying it. It would be like, there's tons of stuff about the president or all sorts of stuff that's going on. And I beg people, send me what it is that you think about it. For those of you who want to represent the other side. And I never get shit. And it goes throughout the world. It goes throughout the fucking world. And you have that opportunity. You have that opportunity. I'm not asking Mitch fuck or dog fart or farty. No, I'm asking you. This is from Lou. And all of these folks are in the audience tonight. Louis, how do you feel about, do you think the rest of the country hates Arizona? No, because of Florida. So I wouldn't worry about it. Do you think Trump knows about regional tectonics in Arizona? Do you think he has talked to the innumerable geologists in this state? Just that sentence alone is just half a sentence. Can you imagine Trump talking to a geologist? Could you imagine if you asked Trump what a geologist was? Do you think he'd know the answer? Do you think he'd know the fucking answer? And is that what people like about him? It's kind of like, wow, he doesn't know just like I don't know. Is that the way this fucking works? All right, that's one of the reasons. You know what? I had an opportunity to take geology in school. As a part, you had your choice of things you could take. And I said, I ain't fucking studying rocks, which is the reason you would know about geology. So you know, I don't want to fucking do that shit. It's a fucking rock. Fuck you. Do you think he has talked to the innumerable geologists in the state who can tell him that what tensile forces on concrete will render a wall useless in no time? Louis, what would you suggest we as Arizonians do to positively affect the actions of this outrageously stupid dipshit? I would say if you could get, Lou, a 12-year-old to do a science project about tectonics and the tensile forces on concrete, which I'm sure that a 12-year-old, I'm sure there's 25 12-year-olds who've done this, and then fucking send that to him. And that might be a start. That might be a start. But you have to get it to him before next Tuesday, and that's going to be tough.
Catch Louis Black's Rantcast all over the place on the internets, and if you can't find it, just growl. Before we get to our next clip, let's hear from our sponsors.
Hello, friends. Summer's here, and thanks to the effect of climate change, it's likely to be hotter than a blowtorch full of Tabasco sauce. Who writes these things? Not to worry, the pants-gineers at Henderson's Pants have been busy as the proverbial beavers, coming up with a sartorial breakthrough that will help y'all chillax your way through the torrid days of summer. Introducing Henderson's air-cooled culottes. These are the first unisex trousers that feature an high-tech, compact cooling system, guaranteed to keep your prickly heat on ice through the hot and steamy summer months. How does Henderson's do it? The secret is in the ripstop nylon duffel bag that you carry along, which contains a repurposed air conditioning unit from a 1974 Chevy Vega. A sturdy, flexible pipe connects to a valve in the right rear pocket, while a similar conduit vents warm air out of the left rear pocket. Our reliable elastic bands help keep the seals stay tight at your waist and calves, so you'll literally be able to chill your ass out within moments of switching on your air-cooled culottes. Although the air conditioning unit weighs in at a hefty 30 pounds, the complimentary duffel bag comes complete with a comfortable shoulder strap with room to store extra batteries. Originally designed for the Summer Olympic ice skating team, Lawrence of Arabia, and the Sheik of Araby, Henderson's air-cooled culottes can be found anywhere you see our windowless Henderson's vans slowly cruising the neighborhood. That's Henderson's, makers of cool cockamamie contraptions since 1903. And now back to Succotash. This episode of Succotash is sponsored in part by TrumPoetry.com, a chronological ode to a fake muse. Enjoy a rhyming spin on the news of the day every day, as well as over 500 archived daily verses thoroughly covering the White House, America, and the world with a sticky caramel coating that's impossible to remove. That's TRUMPoetry.com. Everything you need to know in rhyming couplets. TrumPoetry.com.
Getting back into the action, our next clip comes from a show by two comedians from the Pacific Northwest. Stop Me If I've Heard This features Art Krug and Susan Rice. Now, I don't want to say they've been around a while, but I knew Art from way back in the day when I used to run the Comedy Underground Club in Seattle back in the early 1980s. In a recent episode, they get into what reality looks like in quarantine time, how the concept of time is being perceived now, and our clip is from a chunk of their conversation where they're talking about how they cannot believe this is reality.
I watched Rachel Maddow the other day, yesterday, and it was just a clip from her show where she was talking to the ambassador to the UK, and maybe he was deputy ambassador, but anyway, he'd been an ambassador to the UK for years.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about here.
And she was talking to him about how Trump had approached the some guy I don't remember who, maybe somebody in the diplomatic corps who approached him and said they wanted to do the British Open at his Scottish golf course.
Right. So where did he profit from it?
So he would profit from it?
Yeah. So he would personally profit from it, which is against the Constitution. It's illegal, unethical. And that's what he told the ambassador. This assistant ambassador told him, no, you can't do that for Trump. You go and tell them you need to do that. That's against, probably illegal and definitely unethical. And he did it anyhow.
He did it anyway. He went to the British Parliament and said, we'd like to do this.
You know, these assholes, man, they think they're just completely act with impunity. I really hope after this is all done that there'll be a whole lot of charges retroactively filed against these jerks because they think they can get away with whatever they want to right now. And they've got to pay, man. They've got to pay the piper.
Yeah, there's gonna be a watch, a watch on that White House on November 3rd. Yeah, it looks like he will never concede to Biden.
Hard to say. I don't know. His pride might just make him go, screw you guys, I'm going home.
I know, and there should be no fly zones over the White House because he would really want to just get on a helicopter and go. Yeah,
he would. He'd want to go to Russia or wherever he can.
Just fly him someplace where,
North Korea, Philippines, wherever he's welcome.
I've been watching that Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich on Netflix too. I can only watch half an episode before I just want to go take a shower.
It's so hard to watch.
It's so gross.
Yeah, it is disgusting, man. Just watching TV now, it's like a minefield. You have to watch a little bit of reality, and they need to escape for another half an hour.
Because you can't believe it's reality. You still can't believe it's reality.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Stop Me If I've Heard This is available everywhere other soundcasts are found. You can also find it at the show's home site over on bullhorn.fm. Remember as well that you can find links to all the shows that we clip on Succotash, as well as the host's Twitter feed links on the blog that accompanies this episode over at succotashshow.com. You can scroll back and see the blogs for every show we've done since 2011 if you got nothing to do. But we provide that service, by the way. You know how much we charge? Nothing. It's free because we like you. That's it. Want a comic roundup to the week's news for your ears? Listen no further than Sunday Papers. That's right. That's a soundcast with comedian Greg Fitzsimmons and TV writer Mike Gibbons. Now, we've been big fans of Greg's Fitzdog radio soundcast for years, clipped it a number of times on this show. He's still doing it, by the way, and Mike was often hanging out there with him in his garage, probably still pops in from time to time. Well, now they're taking a break from ripping on each other to rip on the news. Well, there's still a lot of ripping on each other going on in this show. But the clip we have from a recent episode is from the two guys ripping on the motorcycle crowd that rolled into Sturgis, South Dakota last weekend with no regard at all for social distancing, mask wearing, or things that sane human beings are trying to do to stay COVID free.
Okay, so the biggest motorcycle rally, I believe it's in the world, and it's Harley Heaven, you know what I mean, is in Sturgis. It's like synonymous with it.
South Dakota.
South Dakota. So the people there, I'm just off the top of my head, I know it's been brewing for months, and the citizens of Sturgis have begged the city council and mayor and governor, like, not this year. Everything else is being canceled. But come Friday, yesterday, and 2 days ago, I guess, when this airs, but it was yesterday it started. It's 10 days, I think. 250,000 people from across the country have descended on a town with 7,000 people in South Dakota.
It's literally the definition of what not to do during COVID.
Worried residents say officials should have canceled the Sturgis motorcycle rally in a state where the Republican governor, Kristi Noem, resisted stay-at-home orders and mask rules. And last month, she welcomed another mass event, Donald Trump's 4th of July weekend speech at the foot of Mount Rushmore. A city survey found that more than 60% of Sturgis residents wanted the event postponed. The mayor of Sturgis says there's not much they can do but encourage personal responsibility and set up sanitation stations and give out masks, though face coverings won't legally be required. Good luck. You're handing out masks and hoping the people that wear these masks, they're not even wearing motorcycle helmets. If you give them half a chance in a state that doesn't have helmet laws, none of them wear them. Just look at the pictures.
Right. Yeah, these are guys, the mask is not stopping the virus. Put it this way, jeans don't stop a guy from getting a pool cue up his ass during this week. How's a mask going to stop a coronavirus?
One quote in the article, "My grandma is absolutely terrified because she has diabetes and she's in her 80s and has lupus. Meanwhile, normally this time every year, she's just terrified of motorcycle gang rape."
You don't know that.
Now
she
you're
might
adding.
fucking love the bikers.
Now you're adding a virus.
She could be the chick that is a normal, like, laid-back grandma, knits, bakes cookies, and then this week, every year, she puts a fucking bandana on, cuts the legs off her jeans, and goes into fucking holy hell. Mouth open.
You're asking this group to self-monitor and to take care of themselves. No helmets. They don't even take care of their own syphilis. It's just they are rough riders. And you're asking them also to self-regulate and monitor. Remember when the Stones hired Hell's Angels in Altamont? That didn't turn out too well.
That's right.
And that was their official job.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I think keeping 6 feet apart is tough during a gangbang. And we'll wait and see. We'll report on it next week. We'll let you know what happens.
And when you're riding side saddle with your man on his hog, you're definitely within. And when you fall, there's no help. And when you crash into other motorcycles, you're definitely within 6 feet. So let's keep an eye on Sturgis. It's going to be the next, like, at least 10 days.
Oh, it's going to be a huge spike. It's going to be, not only that, all these bikers then go back to their communities where they exercise no social distancing.
The good news is their immune systems aren't compromised at all with, like, drugs or alcohol during this event. So I don't think anyone is going to get it.
Hey, it may turn out nobody gets it, and the secret vaccine is meth.
So you can start dipping into the Sunday papers with Greg and Mike every week and try unwinding with the news for a change with it in their comedy stranglehold. There you go. See? Didn't hurt a bit. Thanks for stopping by to grab a helping or two of Succotash. If all goes according to plan, when I'm back in 2 weeks' time for Epi215, that's 217, my special guest should be Mike Birbiglia, who you no doubt know from his many movie, TV, podcasts, books. The guy is a multi-talented, multi-threat comedy mind, and he is going to grace our pod waves for just a little bit. Again, if all goes according to plan. Now, on your way out, if you'd hit the review bar over there by Apple Podcasts, I wouldn't mind a new 5-star review showing up and a write-up if you've enjoyed what you've heard here. But until we meet again, please tell your friends, and remember to please pass the succotash. Later.
You've been listening to Succotash Shut-In, the Soundcast Stimulus Package, with your host, Marc Hershon. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants, TrumPoetry.com, and imagine your company's name right here. Find us on the web at SuccotashShow.com, on iTunes, on Stitcher, on iHeart Radio, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on the Laughable app, and tattooed on your mother's rear end. You can hear us streaming and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Succotash Show. Email us at marc@succotashshow.com. Or call into the Succotash Skype line at our toll call number 818-921-7212. You can also upload clips from your favorite Comedy Soundcast directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/succotash. Production of Succotash is overseen by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, the home of the hit. Our hosts are Marc Hershon and Tyson Saner. Our musical director is Scott Carvey. Our booth assistant is still Kenny Durgis. And until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please wash your hands and pass the succotash. Goodbye. This has been a Succotash Patch production.